anyị na Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise, ise, ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much.
If you don't know what autopilot is, I want you to go to your dictionary or go to Google. Go to Google and Google what the meaning of autopilot is. Go to Google and check what autopilot means. For some of you who will be confused, go to Google and check what autopilot means. Autopilot has a lot not only to do with an airplane, it has a lot to do with a ship. A ship, spacecraft, and shift. All these instruments can be autopiloted. But when you want to apply the language autopilot literally to when you are speaking, when you say something is autopilot, when you say something is autopilot, that means that thing is acting on its own without being forced. That is what it means. The literal meaning of autopilot, when you use autopilot, when you speak about autopilot, you are saying that something is acting on its own. You can't imagine it. A force that is higher than that thing is controlling it. Without that knowing. Without that knowing. That is the literal meaning of autopilot. Acting without being forced. Acting without, you won't even apply any pressure. You won't even apply any force. You won't even know what you are doing. But all of a sudden you see yourself making differences and making waves. That is what it's all about. But some people tend not to agree with that. But that is a fact. It's a fact that everybody must accept. That is what autopilot means. But people misinterpret it and place it on a different form. It's left for you. But I tell you, there is only one man that made me to come into the Biafra struggle and begin to follow Biafra struggle. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the supreme leader of IPOB, and nobody else. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He was the person that attracted me into the struggle. And he ended every single research. Nobody forced me. He never forced me. He never pushed me. He earned my respect. And I began to respect him. I followed him gradually. I saw the word he said, everything he speaks. They are all truth. Sincere from his heart. He was very consistent and truthful. That is why I followed him and continue to follow him up to tomorrow. And if you must earn my respect, and I believe the same thing with every other Biafran. If you must win Biafran soul, you must be consistent. You must prove yourself. You earn your respect. You don't earn your respect by blackmail. You don't earn your respect by propaganda. And you don't force people or cajole people or push people out to follow you. No. You have to earn it. And those who are smart already are earning their respect. And people are following them. But it's so sad that some people are going to fall victim of what they do not know about. Some people are really going to fall victim of what they do not know about. Out of their greed, out of their carelessness, they are going to fall by the roadside. But I bet you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as you all know, he's coming to court on Tuesday. And we are going to welcome Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. At every given point in time, we are expecting that he's going to be free. We're expecting him to be free. The freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu cannot be contested by anybody. He's going to be free. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you support him or you don't support him. He is definitely going to be free. He will be free. That is where we are. We believe he's going to be free, and he will definitely be free, regardless what anybody says, regardless what decision anybody is taking, regardless what idea anybody is bringing. He is going to be free. I know that, and you should know that too. But it's so sad that many people are going to fall by the roadside. There are some battles I never expect to happen, but eventually those battles are coming up. There are some battles in this struggle that I have been praying for. I have been praying and say, let this battle never come because it's not going to end well. There are some I pray, it will never happen. I say that, let this battle not happen because it's not going to end well. I prayed. But the way things are going, it seems that Chukwuokike Abiama have made that those battles must come. But what are we going to do? Just as we are working under the autopiloted leadership of Chukwuokike Abiama, whatever Chukwuokike Abiama presents to us, we follow. If Chukwuokike Abiama brings a challenge for us that we should follow, we focus on it and we'll deal with it squarely. But I have to advise every single Biafran, ask yourself this pertinent question. Ask yourself, why are you in the struggle for Biafra? Who brought you into the struggle of Biafra? What brought you into the struggle of Biafra? Are you into the struggle of Biafra because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's handsomeness? Are you into struggle because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is from your own village? Or because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man? Or because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so handsome, so elegant in speaking? Is that why you come into the struggle? Or did you come into the struggle because of your freedom and because of the truthfulness you saw in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? For me, I joined the struggle because facts, I saw facts, truths in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When Mazi Nnamdi came out and said that I am going to destroy the Zoological Republic with the truth and nothing but the truth. When he was talking about destroying the Zoological Republic, people thought he's going to fire a shot. He said he's not going to fire any shot. He's going to be with his microphone and the truth. And that was exactly what he did. And the truthfulness of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not only touch only Biafra, it touched even our neighbors. It touched even our Oduduwa brothers today. They are fighting even more than we are doing. Oduduwa people are fighting on the ground. They are fighting even more than we do. The Middle veterans are fighting. Because of the truthfulness and sincerity of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his messages. That was what brought all of us together. And there is nobody anywhere that can change anything or can try to transform anything without building on that foundation of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And as it stands today, the only man that is still building on the foundation of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is Mazi Simon Ekpa. Take it to the bank. The only man that is still building on the foundation of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the very moment he was kidnapped up to date is Mazi Simon Ekpa. He kept being consistent and being truthful. He is pursuing every single agenda of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You and I know that the only thing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu wants is the freedom of Biafra and nothing else. He's not looking for his own personal aggrandizement or exaltation. He doesn't want your money. He doesn't want your exaltation. He doesn't want your praise. Even you, the freedom you are talking about, if you want to give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu freedom, give him Biafra. That is what he said. If you want to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, give him Biafra. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. But today, you see people, they are not even busy about that. They don't care about that. All they care about is causing confusion, trying to draw attention to themselves. Ask them, what project do they have to bring Biafra? None. Today, every project on the ground that is working towards the actualization of Biafra and freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being put in place by our spokesperson, Mazi Simon Ekpa, the real IPOB member. And you see some people, when they want to talk about Mazi Simon Ekpa, people who claim they know Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and they saw Mazi Nnamdi and they hear Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they still talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Simon Ekpa as if he's a stranger. Mazi Simon Ekpa is not a stranger to the struggle. He is not a stranger. Even while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was around, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu initiated him close. There are certain things that Mazi Simon Ekpa knows that all these clowns who are walking around from pillar to pole do not know. There are some information that Mazi Simon Ekpa had that this we don't have. Mazi Simon Ekpa had a direct contact with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He was dealing with him directly. He was under an assignment directly from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But today you still see some people, those who are claiming to be this and that, they will tell you that they will be addressing Mazi Simon Ekpa as an outsider. They will be addressing Mazi Simon Ekpa as an outsider. And that is one of the things that is making them crazy. You saw them, they can't even hold their shame. One of them came out and said that, why must Mazi Nnamdi Kanu go and bring Mazi Simon Ekpa from back door? These are the people who told you about command and control. As far as I know, command and control, the only highest command we have in the IPOB, in the struggle of Biafra today, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What he says is final. And he knows the right direction. He has the key. He knows better, much better than every clown that is around him. They are the ones who have been holding him back. We would have gotten Biafra. So some of them even they are in their program. They will be telling that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have told them that the Biafra will come to and it didn't come. Meanwhile, they are the ones who are working day and night to make sure that Biafra didn't come. Because they felt that hanging around is going to make them relevant. They are enjoying the $1, $2 they are collecting as salary. But today, the game have changed. The game have changed. Chukwuokike Abiama saw what was going to happen. And Chukwuokike Abiama gave Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a leave. The leader of IPOB, the leader of the struggle, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Chukwuokike Abiama gave him a leave to go and take a rest. That is what I call it. To go and take a rest. Even though it's a difficult one, very hard for us to take. But as the day progressed, you see why Chukwuokike Abiama permitted that. For this sanitization that happened today to happen. Chukwuokike Abiama permitted it so that the struggle will be sanitized. So that the air will blow. When the air blows, we can know that the Reverend Fathers even wear short inside. So that we will know that Reverend Fathers are wearing short. I used to tell you that for a very long time, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was here, every time you hear that, we are white and whiter than snow. We are white and whiter than snow. That is the narrative you see every day. We are white and whiter than IPOB is white and whiter than snow. All this while, the only man that has been white and whiter than snow is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And because he's very white, because the light covers the darkness, his whiteness covered every dark spot around him. You could not be able to see through the evil man. He was so bright. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu purity was so much. He was so pure, so clean and so white that he was sparkling everywhere. He was able to penetrate all the dark spots. You couldn't be able to notice the dark spots. But since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Chukwuokike Abiama took him aside, gave him a rest, you begin to expose all the evil, all the dark spots. You begin to see them. All those satanic people you see around, who have been hiding, you see them, they are now bringing their head from all corners, all angles, countering everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said in the past. They are countering it. They are countering it. I can't just imagine how. You see, so, I don't know why we need to point out certain things and touch certain things at a certain given times, because our people tend to have a short memory, which is not nice. Why must you have a short memory? Our people tend to have a short memory. Sometimes before you reach a conclusion, before you begin to listen to somebody, or you begin to try to say that maybe you are convinced, or begin to say maybe or maybe not, use your own common sense. Step back a little bit. Use your common sense. From the time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped up to this very moment, check incidents that happened. What happened? What was the response and the actions of the people? Those people today who are trying to make themselves relevant, what have they been doing? From the moment Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped up to this very day that we are in, go and check. Go back and check. What have they done? What have they said? What have they been doing up to this moment? Then you reach the conclusion and know if they are just waking up today, if their wake up is real or not, if you will listen to them and anybody that stands for them. It is a shame. IPOB, under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the spokesperson of Mazi Simon Eba, is a very, very big organization. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represent a nation. Represent a nation. And for somebody who claim to be part of the insider, you were there and all of a sudden your president was kidnapped without your notice for good 8 days, and you still have the guts to come out and speak and open your mouth and talk. Your president kidnapped somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You should hang yourself in shame. If you had any atom of shame, you are not supposed to be speaking in public. All the damages you have caused, all the shame you brought on Biafran people, we are just trying as much as possible to clean it up. And all of a sudden, now that Biafrans are waking up and trying to establish the Biafra, while we are going to march into Biafra, you have bringing out your ugly face again to come and begin to distract. It's not going to work for you. You can't distract anybody. You can't. Biafrans are smart people. We are doing what we are doing because it is about our life. It's a matter of life and death. It's not because of anybody. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu himself said it, that Biafra is bigger than himself. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that Biafra is bigger than himself and any other person. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can tell us that Biafra is bigger than himself, then who are you? Who are you to come out from any angle thinking that you're going to begin to bend the Biafrans to do what is wrong? Before any Biafran take any action, you ask yourself a question. Why is it that your own supreme leader, our president, was kidnapped? Our president was kidnapped 8 good days. The inner caucus, who claim they are inner caucus, they claim they know eaters. They say they are Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is them. You are Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is you. Yet he was kidnapped 8 good days. You couldn't notice. Let me tell you, even a mother that gave back to a child, as I'm living abroad, if anything happens to me without you telling my mother is going to know. If anything happens to me, or you that you're watching me, if anything happens to you, you have a mother. There are mothers who are not mother. If you have a real mother, if anything happens to you, any place you are in the part of the world, without telling your mother is going to know. He's going to know. She's going to know that something is wrong, something is happening. So how can somebody now who claimed to be you and you him, all of a sudden, you disappeared for good 8 days? If not for the grace of Chukwuokike Abiama, what we are saying today is not what we're going to be saying. If not for the grace of Chukwuokike Abiama, who has already made it, I told you that it's a leave. Who already planned it, that he want to give Mazi Nnamdi Kanu some rest, a leave, no matter how difficult it is. Put him aside and correct certain things. If not for that, assuming that it was the devil himself that orchestrated and made it work, assuming as if the thing was working according to the wish of the devil. This, what you're saying, is not what they're going to say. 8 days is too much of a time for them to waste somebody, melt the body and forget about it. 8 days is too long of a time. 8 days is too long of a time. The journalist that was killed, the Saudi journalist that was killed, his body melted in iron. Did it take how many? It didn't take how many hours? How many hours did it take? A Saudi journalist who they followed into his own home. Security officer followed him into where he entered. He entered an office. It was an embassy. He entered an embassy. And he never came out again. And that was the end of it. They couldn't even find his corpse. His body was dissolved within hours. In hours. A Saudi journalist in their own embassy, Saudi embassy, the body was dissolved within hours. All of you heard about the case. The case was everywhere and he had it. Everybody heard about it. When a journalist in Saudi was kidnapped in the embassy and the body dissolved within hours. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a terror in the eye of the caliphate, somebody they want dead on, they want to take him out by all means possible. They got him with them for good 8 days. They were helpless. They could neither take his life, nor do anything. They have no choice. And they brought him back. That is only miracle. It's only miracle that can make that happen. Only miracle. Not the wish of the caliphate. It's only their own wish is to make sure that they destroy him and make sure that he doesn't exist anymore. Because he is their nightmare. And all this has happened. People who claim to be close to him never had a clue. They didn't have an answer. Instead, immediately the first statement they begin to make was to begin to deny and accuse one. They first of all started by accusing the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Their first step was to accuse the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Was their first accusation. They made accusation. And all of a sudden, when they saw that that accusation wasn't working, they stepped aside. And they now twist it and begin to blackmail Mazi Simon Ekpa. It was Mazi Simon Ekpa that brought him. But they were the first people to attack the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. When they went for that attack, they saw it didn't work. And even when they went for that attack, it seems it's going to work for them. And they went and began to try to use it to win the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu into their own side. And as it happens, people fall into trouble because of their own selfish interest, because of their own trouble, because of their own. You see, when things happen, it will always happen because you will always fall victim depending on the way you train yourself and the kind of mindset you have. That is why people fall victim to certain things. You saw Judas. Judas was able to betray Jesus because right from time he's somebody who loves money. He's not the only disciple. There was never a place where they said it would be Judas that would betray him. But because of the nature of Judas, Judas is somebody who has everything to do with money. Anything that has to do with money, Judas loves it. And when the temptation comes, he fell into it and he sold Jesus. The same thing. When these people, first of all, threw the accusation into the family of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that accusation was to make sure they penetrated the family. And when they penetrated into the family, and then they somehow began to win some people over them. And when they won somebody over them from that very family, they thought they were going to use him to fight and begin to push their evil agenda. It almost worked. But along the line, Chukwuokike Abiama, the way he used to walk, also did something. And something happened, and they begin to fight themselves. He couldn't walk again among them. All of a sudden, do I call it a wake-up call or whatever happened, and they couldn't find peace among them anymore. Now, that strategy didn't work. It didn't work for them. And they have not diverted on that strategy. They have not diverted on that strategy. And this particular strategy that they use now, you think it's going to work? It is not going to work because Biafran people are smarter. But it is so sad. It is so sad, the angle that it is going. I have been praying that this day will not come. I am still praying that this angle that this thing is going, it shouldn't get there. Because I don't want to fight such that. I don't want to fight such fight. I don't want to fight such dirty fight. I don't want to fight on that angle. There are some angles that I hate to touch. I prefer Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out and deal with issues. There are certain issues that I pray that I will not be part of those who will speak about it until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out. There are several things his word is going to settle. There are several things his presence alone is going to settle. And we are going to wait until that time comes. It's going to come fast. It's going to come. But my advice to my fellow Biafra is that in every given time, apply your common sense. Please, I beg you in the name of Chukwuokike Abiama, apply your common sense. Even me that is talking, do not believe me because I'm saying it. Every single thing I say, go and apply your common sense to what I'm saying. Go and make verification from the time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped up today. What have these people been doing? What was their reaction? Even when he was kidnapped the first time, what was their reaction? If you check critically and you can tell yourself the truth, you can see that from the time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has kidnapped up to today, these people were busy. They were busy imposing themselves on Biafra. They were busy trying to position themselves against Biafra. They were busy trying to grab one thing or the other. They were always pursuing one personal interest or the other. And that is where they lost it. Before they could be able to realize that Biafrans are awake and begin to seek the presence of Biafrans, they came to the Biafrans and they begin to demand and command for respect. And you don't treat a Biafran man that way. You don't treat Biafran that way. Mainly the Igbo Biafrans, who are the real piloters. You don't treat them in that way. You don't command anybody. All you need to do is to prove your case. Tell us how reasonable you are. Tell us how reasonable you are. Once you show us how reasonable you are, you see Biafrans will follow you. They will just follow you. They don't need to dance around. They don't need to dance around. Even as I'm talking, you see some clowns on the background. You see some clowns on the background writing some comment which I'm not ready to read. Or less when they flash through my face, I'll just ignore it and move on. You see some clowns, some irresponsible clowns who don't know their left and right. And certain times when you see the way people respond and the way some people who claim to be Biafrans act, you see why people are calling us miscreants. You see why people think that people who are following Biafra struggle are uneducated. Because of the way some of them act. Because of the way some of us reason. That is why people see us as uneducated. But I tell you, Biafrans are the most educated people you can find in that zoological republic are Biafrans. They are. They are. But we still have clowns among us. We still have contaminated clowns among us. And we have to do a lot of work when we get Biafra. Those people, their head has to be broken open and be sanitized. When you see the way people comment and what they say, you begin to think, from which planet are they coming from? You say you are a follower of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept a project on the ground. He kept a project. How far have you gone with the project that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu kept on the ground before he was kidnapped? Nothing. What are you doing for his freedom? Nothing. Every single thing that is working is still, you are still embarking on are the things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have done by himself. Meanwhile, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told you that if I am not there, you know what to do. If I'm not there, you know what to do. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu went as far as saying that if you don't see me, burn down the zoo. When you hear burn down the zoo, there are so many ways to burn down the zoo. So many ways. You can burn down the zoo without throwing a bullet, without firing a shot. Which of those steps have they taken? Which of those steps? The only man that have taken a step that touches the zoo still remains Mazi Simon Ekpa. Take it or leave it. Go and hug a transformer. Take it or leave it. The only man that still takes a step that people can still say, now, today, Biafrans are doing something. Biafrans are acting. Is still Mazi Simon Ekpa. Instead of you now to join the struggle and do what you are supposed to do, what you have to do is to you begin to create a different attack against, create blackmail, begin to form blackmail against your own brother. That's the same person who is doing everything that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have put in place. The person that is pursuing the agenda of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you blackmail him. Whatever he said, you even went to the extent of calling him a terrorist. Forgetting that Mazi Simon Ekpa, there is no single thing that he's saying today that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have not said. Every single thing that Mazi Simon Ekpa is doing today are the things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have put in place. There is nothing new. There is nothing new in everything that Mazi Simon Ekpa is saying and pursuing every agenda. There is nothing new. They are all what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have spoken about, put in place, exactly the same template of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is what is following. And each time you call him a terrorist, you are actually calling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist. They saw it and they couldn't understand. They can't bear it. They are going up to the extent of now, when the evil men, when the caliphate themselves orchestrate an evil, they will target that it is Mazi Simon Ekpa. And they didn't stop there. Today, you hear the broadcast they're making. While we are preparing to march into Biafra in 2023, they are busy planning how to arrest Biafran people and hand over to the enemy. They are busy planning how to hand the Biafran people into the enemy. Every single day, you hear Simon Ekpa coming on live program on daily basis to make a program.
Are yet to wake up from your slumber or your sleep and get the point that we are exiting Nigeria. Exiting Nigeria is not going to come from the platter of golden plate. You have to sacrifice for it. And we are ready to sacrifice everything, including you, if you come and stand in the way of freedom. So you need to know how serious we are. We are damn serious. Some of you are not getting it. You think we are here to build political movement? We are here for freedom. Freedom comes with price. Okay? The only thing you can do is to comment on social media. Don't ever stand on the way of Biafra freedom. We'll crush you.
Their interest is suppressed. Biafra is the key. Once they can hold Biafra down, they can hold all of Africa down. Hey, freedom fighting, sorry. Because all these people are criminals, they are saying there is no way this man cannot be a criminal like themselves. They don't have a different breed altogether. They don't know that. I am Nnamdi Kanu. I don't do all this nonsense you do. My father was a very rich man, not ostentatious. I had the finest education that his money could afford. We are not poor. Have never been. That is why a poor man cannot be a freedom fighter. If you're not full of yourself, you cannot be a freedom fighter. You cannot go everywhere. We must continue.